The Philippine Air Force is the aerial warfare service branch of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and one of the three uniformed services of the Philippines. Initially a part of the Philippine Army, the PAF was formed as a separate branch of the military on July 1, 1947 under Executive Order No. 94. The PAF has the size of 17,000 active personnel which operates its bases and all the aircraft in its inventory. History. The forerunners of the Philippine Air Force were the Philippine Militia, otherwise known as Philippine National Guard. Senate President Manuel L. Quezon enacted a bill on March 17, 1917 for the creation of the Philippine Militia. The bill was known as Militia Act 2715. It was enacted in anticipation that there would be an outbreak of hostilities between the United States and Germany. By the end of the First World War, the U.S. Army and Navy began selling aircraft and equipment to the Philippine Militia Commission. The commission then hired the services of the Curtis School of Aviation to provide flight training to 33 students at a local base in Pero ±8. The early aviation unit was however, still lacking knowledge and equipment to be considered as an air force and was then limited only to air transport duties. On January 2, 1935, Philippine military aviation was activated when the 10th Congress passed Commonwealth Act 1494 that provided for the organization of the Philippine Constabulary Air Corps. PCAC was renamed as the Philippine Army Air Corps on 1936. It started with only 3 planes on its inventory. Ontario, 1941, PAAC has a total of 54 aircraft ranging from pursuit light bombers, reconnaissance aircraft, light transport and trainers. They later engaged the Japanese on their invasion of the Philippines in 1941-42, and was reformed in 1945 after the country's liberation. The PAF became a separate military service on July 1, 1947, when President Manuel Roxas issued Executive Order No. 94. This order created the Philippine Naval Patrol and the Air Force as equal branches of the Philippine Army and the Philippine Constabulary under the now Armed Forces of the Philippines, becoming Southeast Asia's 3rd Air Force as a result. The main aircraft type in the earlier era of the PAF was the P-51 Mustang, flown from 1947 to 1959. Ground attack missions were flown against various insurgent groups, with aircraft hit by ground fire but none shot down. In the 1950s the Mustang was used by the Blue Diamonds Aerobatic display team. These would be replaced by the jet-powered North American F-86 Sabres in the late 1950s, assisted by Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star and Beechcraft T-34 Mentor trainers. The PAF saw its first international action in the Congo under the UN peacekeeping mission in 1960. Commanding Generals. The following are the list of Commanding Generals of the PAF. Lieutenant General Pelagio A. Cruz. November 3, 1953 – July 31, 1956, Brigadier General Eustacio D. Arobia, Brigadier General Benito Nicano Oribuan, Major General Pedro Q. Molina, Brigadier General Jonas A. Victoria, Brigadier General Augusto L. Gerardo, Major General Victor Dizon, Brigadier General Jose B. Ramos, Brigadier General Emmanuel S. Casabar, Brigadier General Juan B. Guevara, Brigadier General Jesus Ed Singson, Brigadier General Jose L. Rancudo, Major General Samuel O. Sarmiento, Brigadier General Petronio M. La Pena, Major General Vicente M. Picchio, Jr. Major General Ramon J. Farallon, Jr. Lieutenant General Antonio E. Sotelo, Major General Jose de Leon, Jr. Major General Geraldo C. Protasio, Lieutenant General Loven C. Abadia, Major General Leopoldo Act, Lieutenant General Nicasio Rodriguez, Jr. Lieutenant General William K. Hotchkiss III, Lieutenant General Willie Cacturc Florendo, Lieutenant General Benjamin P. Defensa, Jr. Lieutenant General Nestor A. Santillan, Lieutenant General Jose L. Reyes, Lieutenant General Horatio Tolentino, Lieutenant General Pedro Tosinco Cadengog, Lieutenant General Oscar A. Trabina, Lieutenant General Laura Catalano de la Cruz, Lieutenant General Jeffrey F. Delgado. Modernization programs. Over 15 years after the 1995 passage of the Armed Forces Philippines Modernization Program, the Philippine Air Force remains in dire need of modernization. The current incarnation of the AFP Modernization Program is the Capability Upgrade Program, which defers PAF-related modernization efforts to the second and third phases of a three-phase program. Much to the consternation of PAF observers and personnel, the first phase, dubbed Back to Basics, focuses on improving the AFP's ability to conduct internal security operations. What little funding the PAF receives in this phase revolve around the PAF's role in supporting ground operations. More advanced aircraft are expected in phases 2 and 3 of the CUP, which is when genuine modernization is expected to start. PAF-related components of these phases are grouped into what it calls Horizon programs, with Horizon 2 expected to begin in the 2010 to 2012 timeframe. Assets acquired during the modernization program are 8 PZLW-3 Soka Cube Langstrom, and 18 SF-260F. Combat aircraft, multi-role fighters. There were several occasions that the PAF tried to modernize its fighter aircraft force, which was left to decline for several decades. In 1991, the newly democratic Russian government offered the PAF several of its aircraft, including the Mikoyan MiG-29 and Sukhoi Su-27, during a demonstration held at Villamar Air Base. In 1992, the PAF received offers for both the IAIKFIR and the F-16 Fighting Falcon. After the enactment of the 1995 AFP Modernization Act, the PAF made renewed calls to purchase several fighter aircraft, with the initial plan of having 36 multi-role fighters in a span of 15 years. Offers included the American Lockheed Martin F-16CD Falcon and McDonnell Douglas F-18CD Hornet, French Dassault Mirage 2000-5, and the Russian Mikoyan MiG-29. Also offered as alternatives were the embargoed Pakistani F-16 ABS and ex-French Air Force Mirage F-1, and ex-South African Air Force Denel Cheetahs, which were rejected as the government was then inclined on obtaining new-build platforms. However, these modernization programs were put on hold after the Philippines' economy was impacted by the 1997 Asian financial crisis. Renewed interest would later come on used platforms. In June 2010, the Department of National Defense was also looking at Canada for used CF-18s or France for its used Mirage F-1s, although no decision or purchase came up. On December 2011, the DND and Department of Foreign Affairs was tasked to formally request at least a squadron of 12 ex-USAF F-16CD fighter jets, most probably Block 25 or 30, which would be refurbished to either Block 50 or 52 standards. This was discussed during the U.S.-Philippines 2+2 meeting on April 30, 2012. The Philippine government will be paying for refurbishing, maintenance and pilot training, which will run for 2 years. However, by 2012 the maintenance costs for the used fighters were found to be too high, so attention turned to new jet trainers that could be converted into jet fighters. The requirements were listed as supersonic ability, multifunction displays and onboard oxygen generation system. A DND spokesman has said that aircraft from France, the United Kingdom, Italy, and South Korea were considered. It was reported that the DND will be acquiring multi-role fighters by 2018. Surface Attack Aircraft Lead and Fighter Trainer. In May 2010, Air Force Chief Lieutenant General Oscar Rabina announced that the PAF was ordered to submit generic types of advanced jet trainers that will replace the S-211. According to General Rabina, they are choosing models from Europe and Asia, and following evaluation, the Department of National Defense will open bidding for the purchase of such aircraft. On March 2012, the AMX fighter was one of the items inspected by a DND delegation. Italy possible procurement of used AMX aircraft, although no official information has been released if purchases will be made on the said aircraft. A requirement for at least 6 new lead-in fighter trainers that will also fill in the surface attack aircraft role was announced by the PAF and DND on 2011. But this was revised to 12 units during announcements by the DND and PAF in 2012. The offers made to the PAF and DND were the following: TA-50 Golden Eagle, Korea Aerospace Industries; M346 Master, Alenia Anomaki; Yak-130 Mitten, Yakovlev Design Bureau; L-159 BALCA, Aerobatic; BAE Hawk, BAE Systems. AMX International. On June 19, 2012, it was reported that the Department of National Defense selected the supersonic TA-50 Golden Eagle from South Korea to augment the need of the Philippine Air Force for advanced trainers which can also be converted as fighter jets. The Philippines intends to acquire 12 units at 1.25 billion Philippine pesos each. And in July 2012, state media reported that the selection had been narrowed down to the TA-50, M346, Yak-130 or the BAE Hawk. On January 30, 2013, it has been confirmed by Philippine government that the FA-50 Golden Eagle lead-in fighter trainer has been selected for acquisition for 18.9 billion pesos. 12 units are to be purchased. As of April 23, 2013, the Department of National Defense is in the last stages of procuring the FA-50. On February 21, 2014, it was announced that the Philippines and South Korea completed the negotiations for the acquisition of 12 lead-in fighter trainer jets from South Korea. The Department of National Defense Special Bids and Awards Committee approved the offer of Korea Aerospace Industries in a meeting that was held in Camp Aguinaldo. On March 28, 2014, it was announced by the State Arms Procurement Agency of South Korea that South Korea signed a $420 million contract Friday to export 12 FA-50 fighter jets built by Korea Aerospace Industries to the Philippines under a government-to-government deal. Close air support aircraft. The Philippine Air Force is looking to replace entire OV-10 Bronco fleet which are currently used for close air support and aerial reconnaissance platforms. Being considered are the Hukbóng Himpapawid AT-6B Texan II, Embraer-314 Super Tucano, Kai Ka-11B, Elbit Systems L-159, and reportedly, the Air Tractor AT-802U. A decision from the PAF and DND was expected to be released by July 2012, but was moved to the fourth quarter of 2014 due to bureaucratic constraints. Hukbóng Himpapawid demonstrated their AT-6B Texan II, together with their other aircraft line, in April 2012 with a display at Clark Air Base. On June 20, 2012, it was reported that the Embraer 314 Super Tucano from Brazil is a possible contender for its aircraft for a total of 6 units, which will be acquired for 4.968 billion Philippine pesos. Helicopters. The Department of National Defense, on behalf of the PAF, is currently pursuing the following acquisition projects: 8 combat utility helicopters, 8 attack helicopters and 21 additional UH-1 helicopters. Combat utility helicopters, PZLW-3 Sokol. On December 2009, the DND issued a notice of award worth 2.8 billion Philippine pesos to PZL Swednik SA of Poland, as the winner of the Combat Utility Helicopter Program for 8 PZLW-3 Sokol helicopters. The first batch of 4 helicopters was delivered in February 2012, and a second batch of 2 units were delivered on November 2012. The final 2 units were delivered on February 15, 2013. Bell 412. On March 17, 2014, it was reported that there are plans to procure an additional 8 combat utility helicopters. It was later reported that these helicopters are Bell 412s that will be acquired from Canada. 3 of these helicopters will be configured as VIP transports while the remaining 5 will be used to replace aging Bell 412 helicopters acquired during the Ramos administration. The helicopters will be acquired from the Canadian Commercial Corporation through a government-to-government transaction. It was also reported that the contract will be signed on March 28, 2014. Armed Scout Helicopter, an older acquisition project, the night-capable attack helicopter, was abandoned due to procedural irregularities. The Office of the Ombudsman is currently investigating this project. Engines of 20 MD-520 attack helicopters are currently being overhauled. The PAF elected to pursue this project via FMS. On June 20, 2012, it was reported that the Eurocopter AS-550 Fenk armed helicopters from France was chosen and a total of 10 units will be acquired for 3.4 billion Philippine pesos. But it was reported that the helicopters being offered by Eurocopter are no longer available. On July 26, 2013, it was reported that Aerobatic was the only bidder for the 3.4 billion Philippine pesos attack helicopter acquisition project. Boeing, MD Helicopters and Eurocopter backed out due to unknown reasons. On October 28, 2013, it was announced that a notice of award was issued to Aerobatic. The company offered the AW109 Power. On November 6, 2013, it was announced by Aerobatic that the PAF has signed a contract for 8 AW109 Power helicopters and the deliveries will start at 2014. Additional UH-1, 5 refurbished UH-1 helicopters from the United States government were handed over to the PAF on January 10, 2011. On June 20, 2012. It was reported that an additional 21 units of used UH-1D Huey utility helicopters from an unspecified country will be acquired for 1.2 billion Philippine pesos. The helicopters will come from the United States and are expected to be delivered by December 2012. But it was reported the bidding failed because the two firms that submitted offers had failed to meet certain eligibility requirements. On January 31, 2013. Two more firms joined the bidding for 21 UH-1 helicopters for the Philippine Air Force, the American firm Rice Aircraft Services Incorporated and the Israel-based Radam Aviation Systems Limited. The AFP wants these helicopters delivered on or before March 31. The government has also allocated P1.26 billion for the purchase of the helicopters and the integrated logistics support package. On February 14, 2013. It was reported that Radam Aviation Systems Limited backed out, leaving Rice Aircraft Services Incorporated. The only bidder, but the company failed to meet some requirements during the post-qualification phase. On August 5, 2013, it was reported that the DND was prompted to schedule a third bidding for the project because 14 companies have expressed interest to supply 21 Huey helicopters to the Air Force. A joint venture between Rice Aircraft and Canada-based Eagle Copter had won the bid, but failed on the post-qualification bidding over a discrepancy in paperwork submitted to the DND. Despite the failure on the third bidding, DND has proceeded with the negotiated bidding with the joint venture and finally awarded them on December 28, 2013 for a bid price of P1.25 billion for 21 refurbished UH-1 helicopters. Those helicopters should arrive within 6 months after the awarding. Training aircraft, additional T-41s, as part of a defense aid of South Korea to the Philippines, 15 additional former ROKAF T-41Bs arrived on December 4, 2008 in disassembled form. These arrived at the 410th Maintenance Wing and Clark AFB, whose personnel completed reassembly of the aircraft. These were inaugurated into service on March 5. New SF-260F, after being delayed due to exchange rate issue, Aerobatic Industries Philippines, the domestic partner of Alenia Aeromaki, delivered 18 locally assembled SF-260F aircraft to the Air Force, with deliveries completed by third quarter 2011. These would serve the primary training program and will be complemented by the existing fleet of older SF-260TP purchased in early 1990s and remaining SF-260 milliseconds purchased in the mid-1970s. Transport aircraft, used C-130. With a shortage of transport aircraft, the Philippine Air Force announced in February 2010 its intention to purchase a refurbished C-130H and 3 smaller transport aircraft to augment its fleet, and an invitation to bid was released with DERCO Aerospace declared as the only bidder with an ex-Tunisian Air Force C-130H. This might eventually replace the N-22B Nomad transport planes currently in service. But by June 2011, the DND declared a failure of bidding and instead are now looking for EDA from friendly countries. In December 2011, President Ninoy Aquino promised to buy at least 2 more C-130 cargo aircrafts by 2012. On July 24, 2014, the government ordered 2 additional refurbished C-130T aircraft, along with 10 Allison T-56 turboprop engines from the United States through DSCA. These 2 C-130T aircraft will be delivered to the country next year. The government are now exploring plans to purchase C-130 aircraft from Australia. Refurbishing of C-130, 2 Philippine Air Force C-130 underwent a programmed depot maintenance, one C-130 HTN-4704 with British Aerospace in California, United States, while the other, a C-130B, is with PAF's 410th Maintenance Wing at Clark Air Base. The C-130H arrived in Manila on October 17, 2012, while the C-130B with TN-3633 returned to active status on December 28, 2012. Another C-130 is expected to go through a similar recovery and overhaul program by the 410th Maintenance Wing. Medium-lift aircraft. On June 20, 2012, it was reported that the Alenia C-27J Spartan medium-lift transport aircraft was chosen and a total of 3 units will be acquired for 5.9 billion Philippine pesos. However, on February 28, 2014, DND has chosen and ordered Airbus E295 aircraft as its medium-lift aircraft for 3 units. Light-lift aircraft. On June 20, 2012, it was reported that the IPTN NC-212 Aviocar light-lift transport aircraft from Indonesia was chosen and a total of 2 units will be acquired for 814 million Philippine pesos. On September 26, 2013, the DND declared PT Dirgantara Indonesia Indonesian Aerospace as the only qualified bidder. They are offering the Series 200, Series 300 and the Series 400 versions of the IPTN NC-212 Aviocar. The version to be delivered is the NC-212I, the new generation of aircraft types NC-212-200 or NC-212-400. A notice of award was issued by the DND to PTDI in January 2014 after clearing the post-bid qualification requirements, and PTDI is required to deliver the aircraft within 548 calendar days from the opening of the letter of credit. Search and rescue aircraft, seaplanes. On November 2013, the DND released an invitation to bid for the acquisition of 3 brand new search and rescue seaplanes with an integrated logistics package. The DND has allotted 2.67 billion pesos for this project. The pre-bid conference was scheduled at November 15, 2013 while the actual bidding was scheduled at November 29, 2013. The seaplanes being offered should be used by the armed forces of the country of origin or by the armed forces of at least 2 other countries. Long-range patrol aircraft. On July 1, 2014, President Benigno Aquino III announced plans to acquire 2 long-range patrol aircraft. A budget of P5.976 million has been allotted under the revised Armed Forces Modernization Program. Companies reported to have bought bid documents include Alenia Aeromaki, Airbus Military and Delta System Limited, Aircraft Inventory, Active Aircraft. As of 2014, the backbone of the PAF inventory consists of former aircraft. As Philippine Army Air Corps Organization in 2006, bases, the Philippine Air Force has 12 bases located throughout the archipelago. Luzon. Luzon has the largest concentration of installations. 7 of the 12 bases located throughout the country lies within Luzon. The headquarters, the Villamar Air Base, is located at Pasay. It is also the home of the 250th Presidential Airlift Wing. 2 bases lies at the province of Pampanga, the Clark Air Base and the Basa Air Base. The Clark Air Base at Clark International Airport in Angeles is the home of the Air Logistics Command and the 710th Special Operations Wing. Meanwhile, the Basa Air Base in Florida Blanca is the home of the Air Defense Wing. Another base located within Luzon is the Fernando Air Base in Liapa, Batangas. It is the home of the Air Education and Training Command and the Air Force Research and Development Center. Other bases in Luzon includes the Dana Lo Atienza Air Base in Cavite City which is the home to the 15th Strike Wing, the Antonio Bautista Air Base in Palawan which is the home of the 570th Composti Tactical Wing, the Wallace Air Station in San Fernando which is the home of the 580th Control and Warning Wing, Visoras. The Visoran Islands has 1 air base, the Benito Ibion Air Base in Mactan and is the home of the 220th Airlift Wing. Mindanao. 4 air bases are situated in Mindanao, namely the Edwin Andrews Air Base in Zamboanga, Rajabayan Air Base in General Santos, an airbase at Lumbia Airport in Cagayan de Oro and the Tog Sanga Sanga in Tawi-Tawi. Aerobatic team. The Philippines had a number of aerobatic team during the 70s. Blue Diamonds, Red Aces, Golden Sabres, Bibuyogs. See also, First Ready Reserve Air Wing PAF, references, notes. External links, official website, History of the PAF page at Scramble, papers of William Liesel Lee, former technical advisor to the Philippine Air Force and Chief of the Constabulary Air Corps, Dwight D. Eisenhower Presidential Library.